Hey everyone, welcome back for a brand new video about that HBO show that won't make you wait for years for fire-breathing action, House of the Dragon. Warning, beyond this point there are major spoilers for people who are not up to date in the Game of Thrones TV universe as well as the George R.R. Martin book series, and even for those of you who are, as some of these spoilers will touch on plot details that haven't even aired yet. If you don't want anything spoiled beyond what's in the trailer, you need to leave now. In this video, we're going to give you our binge breakdown of the action-packed trailer for the 6th episode of HBO's House of the Dragon. We're also going to give you our theory about what is coming beyond Season 1 of the Targaryen drama and how it might differ from the source material. Finally, we want to talk about the spoilers that have circulated for the first season of the highly anticipated Game of Thrones spin-off. We have waited to report on these spoilers until we noticed a discrepancy in Episode 5 that makes us wonder what else may or may not happen in the back half of Season 1. We're going to talk about those juicy leak spoilers later on, but first, let's take a look at this trailer.
Binge.
The opening shot makes sure we start off on the right foot, or wing, with a flying shot of Daemon's dragon, Caraxes, before cutting inside to a sequence of the King's Small Council talking about the stepstones Daemon so humbly conquered back in Episode 3. In Episode 4, the prince let the king know that he left the area unguarded with a brutal warning for anyone that got the wrong idea about whose kingdom this is. Apparently, Daemon's scare tactics have worn off and a new problem has arisen for an old and very weakened King Viz. Lionel Strawn, the king's hand, is also showing his age here, and we got our first glimpse of a grown-up Rhaenyra since the trailers leading up to the season premiere. These shots tell us the princess is now a member of the small council, and in a surprising move, so is the queen, who has her own green ball which signifies her house is still at war and her one-time bestie is now her archenemy. When the king questions his brother's absence during these issues with the stepstones, Alicent takes the opportunity to shit on her hubby's brother, which Rhaenyra doesn't like, and makes known right away. This simple exchange shows us what we already know. There's no love lost between these two, and the divide will only get worse. After a series title card, we get a shot of Aemon Targaryen, and sorry, but that kid looks creepy as f***. Targaryens are scary, for real. Queen Alicent's third-born child seems to be trying to get close to a dragon in this moment, and knowing the books, it won't happen like this, but we'll talk more about what does go down with this dragon, Dreamfire, later. The trailer then cuts outside for some more Targaryen action where we can see a teenage version of baby Aegon rocking green just like his mama. The long-haired prince is kicking down his younger and smaller nephew, Jacaerys, or Jace. The sequence continues with Sir Harwin Strong, who is allegedly Rhaenyra's secret baby daddy, looks away angrily towards an old as shit looking King Viserys and his hand, Big Papa Strong. It's kind of funny here the way the king chuckles at the prince's fighting, but how he actually feels about all his new possible heirs is a mystery. Following that moment, the trailer cuts to a very grown-up Laena Velaryon and one of her daughters by Prince Dirt Dog Daemon. This guy is a twisted groomer for real though. Laena is pregnant by Daemon in this shot here, and if the book and spoilers are any indication of her fate, she won't make it out of the childbirth. R.I.P. another character we barely knew. Can we also start calling Daemon the White Widower? The next shot we get is a dragon egg being put on the Targaryen version of a set it and forget it rotisserie oven. We believe this dragon egg could be for Daemon's children, but there are so many Targaryen seeds at this point in the story that it could be a number of locations. After that, we get another shot in the courtyard scene of Aegon where it's clear this guy is going to be a problem in the future. While we get our first look at the possible next in line to the Iron Throne, we hear the queen telling her son he will be king. Does he really want it? The promo then cuts back over to the new Team Daemon, where we see one of his daughters holding a dragon egg before cutting to Daemon's fearless wife giving the Dark Lord a pep talk.
We are the blood of old Valyria.
This shot here is badass. We get a shot of husband and wife dragon riders. Laena's dragon is Vhagar, the biggest, meanest, and oldest dragon in the world. Vhagar will play a huge role in the war to come, even if Laena won't. The next shot we get is of two dragon trainers leading a dragon up in front of Jace, Rhaenyra's firstborn. It also appears that Rhaenyra is holding her thirdborn baby Joffrey here. It seemed the name was available after her wedding. Poor Laenor. That shot fades to black and back into a shot of the king's hand, while the voiceover that plays during this sequence implies that Lord Strong realizes his son has given the princess 3 illegitimate children and is talking about the follies of fatherhood to the king in front of Sir Harwin, his own son. Well, the kids definitely ain't Laenor's.
You are not the father.
The trailer then cuts to a pretty intense sequence where Rhaenyra's baby daddy and her ex are throwing down pretty hardcore. Harwin seems to be living up to his reputation as the strongest man in the Seven Kingdoms. While the fight is happening, we see a whole bunch of young Targaryen blood in the background. Aemon on the left, then Aegon and young Lucerys, or Luke, and his big brother Jace. The older guys don't seem fazed, but the younger boys definitely have a WTF moment here. This is the Game of Thrones universe, kids, toughen up. After the fight is broken up, the trailer cuts away to baby Joffrey with the princess, while the queen's overlaying dialogue implies that all 3 of the children are not from Laenor, and it is an insult to the people's intelligence. We're not huge fans of Alicent, but she does have a point. How about some discretion, Rhaenyra? Following a cut to black, the promo fades back into the king's hand, who reiterates that it's obvious who fathered Rhaenyra's boys. This guy looks really stressed about it. The years haven't been kind to him, and neither will the story. But we'll cover that more later. The next shot we get is the princess holding her third-born baby and looking concerned, but no other new story info here. The promo then switches over to another moment that tells us nothing, with Alicent, before cutting to Lord Strong's other son, Larys, aka the Clubfoot. This dude is like Littlefinger 1.0, since this happened first and all. After that, we get a shot of a very weakened king who hasn't been standing up once this whole trailer. The dialogue playing during the sequence seems to be directed at Rhaenyra and Harwin about the baby daddy rumors, but it's tough to say for sure. The promo's next sequence seems to suggest that the king will have some people jailed, maimed, and even killed for spreading the rumor about the strong Targaryen babies. Viz just ain't trying to hear anyone talk about his daughter's honor. Let a father have that, people. Following one last fade to black, the trailer fades back into young Jace giving us our favorite Game of Thrones word. Dracarys! And his new dragon bro listens and burns some poor goat alive. The fact that there will be so much more dragon action in Season 2 is insane. Now we're going to give you our theories and predictions of where the show is going after Season 1, as we already know pretty much every major story point that's happening between now and the finale. We're going to compare to the source material, and for the casual viewers, please realize that even in the source material, there are sometimes 3 different versions of the same event. So any given plot point could match one of the 3 possible versions of events, be a mixture of all 3, or be completely changed. The further down the line we go, the harder it gets to know, but it's always fun to try and predict. First off, one thing that is obvious, Season 1 will set off the Dance of the Dragons, a brutal war for the control of House Targaryen and the 7 Kingdoms, that basically saw almost every living dragon wiped out of existence. This period in Westeros history is also called the Dying of the Dragons, but Dance sounds more poetic and less depressing, so we're letting that one ride. Either way, we're getting a dragon war. That's right, people, a f***ing dragon war. Although there doesn't seem to be too many giants, wargs, walkers, or direwolves in the future, there's going to be so much dragon action to make up for it. The dance also kills off a pretty decent sized chunk of House Targaryen, but hey, in the GOT universe people die all the time, especially those who want that power. Given the spoilers, it appears that the season will end after the first battle of the Dance of the Dragons, which will see Princess Rhaenyra's second-born son Luke fight against Queen Alicent's second-born son Aemond, whose older version has previously been shown in the trailers portrayed by this actor from The Last Kingdom. In the books, directly after this attack, the dance kicks into high gear and Daemon Targaryen sends 2 guys named Blood and Cheese to kill Queen Alicent's firstborn grandson, Aegon's kid, Jaehaerys, in a very graphic way. We really don't know if having a 6-year-old dismembered will fly with audiences, so we wonder if one of Alicent's sons will die in the grandson's place, but as there are only 3 sons, that may not be the case either. What do you think? Will the show decapitate a 6-year-old? Maybe. Whatever acts of war occur, we believe the 2 sides, dubbed the green side, Alicent's, and the black side, Rhaenyra's, will each lose an important member of their royal family. This will unite their bannermen from the houses that remain loyal to them and cause a whole lot of fighting and slaughter outside of all of the dragon action. After seeing a guy literally getting his face punched off, the bar for hand-to-hand combat has also been set pretty high. There is a particular arc where 2 twin brothers split to the black and green side and end up in a duel to the death. We really hope that gets added into the series. We believe Season 2 will build up to a final massive dragon battle between Princess Rhaenys and Aegon and Aemond Targaryen, along with their 3 dragons that will see the queen who never was wiped off the board. Losing the Princess Rhaenys will tie Lord Corlys to Princess Rhaenyra, as he will want vengeance for his beloved wife after losing his kids, which will motivate his character throughout the series. Before we get into the spoilers, there was a lot of talk about this little person featured for about 2 seconds in the last episode being one of the sources used to write the fictional Targaryen history book the show is based on. A dwarf court jester named Mushroom. Mushroom is basically peak drunken Tyrion in his whorehouse prime.
It's not easy being drunk all the time.
We really hope we get Mushroom in the series, but we're not sure if assuming the first little person we see is the raunchy little psychedelic dwarf is politically correct. But is it him? Either way, we don't want to speculate beyond Season 2 for now, as there are so many possibilities that the show can branch off from the source material, but as long as we don't get a repeat of Game of Thrones Season 8, we'll be fine with that. Finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the leaked plot spoilers for all of Season 1. We didn't want to be those guys and spoil the entire season for casual fans, as HBO has gotten the leaks removed from Reddit and aggressively chased whoever did the leaking. What got our attention was Episode 5 and a decent sized discrepancy in the spoilers and what actually happened on screen. The big wedding fight was supposed to be started by Sir Criston because Sir Joffrey told him about the Moon Tea, But we never saw any exchange like that.
The Grand Maester delivered a tea to the princess's chambers.
As far as we know, Kristen never knew about the moon tea unless he was told off screen. Was this scene cut? Either way, it's different than the spoilers said it would be, and we want to know why. So far, the leaks have been 100% on point. Having a mistake opens up all kinds of questions. There's no doubt whoever had these story details had insider knowledge, as they couldn't possibly have guessed so many details that were never elaborated on in the source material. The mistake makes us wonder if it was the leaker who made an error, or if the content they saw or found out about was an earlier version of the episode. This could mean that other plot details that were spoiled could actually end up being different, which kind of makes the back half of Season 1 exciting. We're never going to know for sure what happens, which adds a little mystery back into being spoiled. Although anyone decent at Googling can find these spoilers, we are hesitant to repeat them all via our videos. What do you think? Should we do a new spoiler video each week leading up to the episode? Or should we just cover the promos in connection to the source material? For now, we'll go over a little bit of episode 6, but we don't want to go with the nuclear option just yet. We do get quite a lot from the trailer, but what wasn't mentioned was that Viserys and Alicent's third son, Darren, has been born in the time skip, although apparently he is away at the Queen's hometown for Season 1. So he won't really factor into what's going on here aside from being mentioned. We also don't see the princess's hubby, Laenor, in the trailer, although he is mentioned when baby Joffrey is presented to the king. Alicent taunts the young Lord Velaryon about the babies not being his, but we don't get any other real mention about Laenor, although we do know he doesn't die in this episode. Rhaenyra's two older boys have a moment where they select a dragon egg for their brother Joffrey, which is probably where this egg shot in the trailer belongs. At some point, the queen-to-be proposes a reconciliation with her stepmom/ex-best friend by suggesting they marry their children together, but the Green Queen just can't find it in herself to trust her stepdaughter and shoots Rhaenyra down cold. Nothing is stopping this dragon war, people. Another leaked story detail tells us that Aegon, Jace, and Luke all bully Aemon for not having a dragon. These sound like Targaryen problems. Aemon takes it to heart and tries to tame the dragon Dreamfire, who will eventually end up belonging to his older sister Helaena. He gets burnt, which pisses off Alicent royally. Alicent is especially mad at Aegon, where she essentially tells him he needs to grow up, and this is where we get that line in the trailer of the queen telling her firstborn he will be king. We don't get many details about Daemon and his new wife Laena, except that they have two daughters who are supposed to be twins according to the books, and that Laena dies in childbirth with their third. The next story detail we want to talk about is the fight between Sir Harwin and Sir Criston. Apparently, this fight is found to be Harwin's fault, and he's banished from the court even though his father is the Hand. This tells us how tight the Queen and Criston have become if she can protect him from anything, even beating to death the King's new son-in-law's good friend. The huge shocker of this episode is that a fire in the Strong's ancestral home kills Lord Lionel and Sir Harwin. RIP dudes that we kind of knew. These spoilers have left out a lot of smaller details, and we believe a detail left out here was that Larys has something to do with the death of his father and brother, but there's no way to know for sure. What do you think? Would the new/old Littlefinger off his family? Quite possibly. We don't want to spoil every little thing for the more casual viewers, so we're going to leave the more minor plot details out of this video. Let us know if you want to hear more before next week's episode, and we'll share this knowledge, which is a gift and also a curse. Let's just hope that whatever happens, we get more dragon battles than we know what to do with. Thanks so much for watching our videos, everybody. As always, we're on the lookout for any new promo videos, insider info, or leaked spoilers to help prove or disprove all the rumors out there about our favorite show that's got more time jumps than Back to the Future, House of the Dragon. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Binge Rampage. Click that notifications bell for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out, and don't forget to subscribe.
Rhaenyra Targaryen was murdered by her brother, or rather, his dragon. It ate her while her son watched. What's left of her is buried in the crypts right down there.